Now, usually when I make some future-oriented information, I make a disclaimer that, look, this is all about future. Nobody knows about future. So I could be 100% wrong or 100% right. We don't know. But whatever information I have gathered so far, based on that information, I have made some my own predictions. There are a lot of forecast and information available from different experts, but I have tried to make my own input based on my experience and availability of the facts and figures, and based on my judgment, what is the best scenario for you to going forward. So that's one disclaimer. So I always try to gather information from these sources. These are my favorite sites, if you're seeing on the screen. McKinsey, Gartner, Big Four. These organizations are very rich with the resources, and they do a lot of research on relevant topics, and they are pretty reliable. So my main source of information in this session is from these four sources. Somewhere I have mentioned the source, somewhere I was not able to, but as a general acknowledgement, I'm mentioning it here, that most of the information is from these sources. And then definitely I have added my own judgment and my point of view on certain level of informations. So what we'll do today is session one. So it's a three-part series. Today we are going to talk about or try to understand an overview of the emerging trends and their impact on the future of business and your career mainly. So that's our focal point. COVID-19, we are not going to discuss any health crisis here because I'm not an expert on that. But my expertise is around the business changes happening and how you could cope and prepare yourself better from a career management or career planning point of view. That's today's main topic. What we'll talk about is specifically major business trends impacting the business model. Now, many trends you already know, like remote working, but there are certain other areas which have been identified by these Big Four and McKinsey and Gartner. That's what I'm going to share with you. New trends impacting the way we work. So business models are changing very fast, and the way we work, that is changing very fast. These two major driving forces. And this is seriously going to impact the demand and supply of talent. Already is happening, but in near future, it's going to impact much more on that part. So we'll cover that part. And talent is, in my opinion, is actually redefined. The talent as known until now or 5 years, 10 years ago is pretty much change. And that is the most important thing we need to understand, that when we look at our talent, does it really align or match with what employers are looking at? That's the main conclusion we need to draw. So that's today. Next week, same time, same day, we'll talk about creating your career strategy. So based on our understanding from the first session, we'll try to craft your strategy, career strategy, what we need to do. And what we'll do is specifically, you need to really develop a new mindset because the change is so magnificent, the change is so massive that simply by doing some tactics, it's not going to work out. So you need to really refresh your mindset to look at your career and the market, talent market. And then we'll look a serious evaluation of your toolkit, which is basically your skill set. What skills you have, what are relevant, what is not relevant, what needs to be unlearned, and what needs to be learned. That would be part of the major content of your career strategy. And how to upskill. So nobody could deny that we need to do a lot of upskilling. Your degrees and certification you did 10, 15, 20 years ago is not much relevant anymore. And there is a different set of skills which is require high requirement and demand. And then how to position yourself after crafting your strategy in the marketplace. How does your brand look like? How the employers and recruiters would look at your offering. And then mastering the networking skill, which is becoming every day more and more relevant. So that would be the session 2. In session 3, we'll try to execute your strategy, how to execute it, because without execution, all work is useless. So we'll look at the career options for typical profile of professionals and getting ready for the toughest job market. So I'll explain with more facts and figures. It is expected that we are heading towards even tougher job market. It's already tough, but even going to a tougher job market. And what would be your job search strategy? So whether you're employed or you are in transition already, all jobs are temporary. Even those of us who are well employed right now, it is very much probable that 12 months from now you will be in the job market. So we all need to, whether we are employed or not employed, we all need to prepare for the job search, or at least need to learn these techniques, because based on the future scenario, this would not be a once in a lifetime job search. It would be happening again and again with several intervals. And very importantly, how to tap the hidden job market. So as the things are changing, it is also changing very fast, that senior level jobs are not being posted anymore publicly. So there are the pool of hidden jobs which most of the people do not have access. Now also let me remind you that all of my work from a career point of view, when I say professionals, my segmentation or my classification of the professionals is those professionals who are usually in the early to mid career with a potential to reach to the C-level positions, to become a CFO. If you are a finance professional, and even if you are working as a manager, probably you fall into that category who has the potential to become a CFO at some point of time. Because in my opinion, if you have a accounting or finance certification or an MBA or master's degree, you are well qualified to serve as a CFO at some point of your time. The things which you need to learn and add are easier rather. These are not additional certification or degrees, but just some soft skills, strategy, leadership, those type of things really make you. And this is also part of this 3 series coaching, that how could you really reach to that level? But believe me, trust me, based on my experience, this is all you need. If the first level of qualification, like a good degree, master's degree, or a good level of certification, is enough for you. And again, that's not enough from your development point of view, but that's basically an entry ticket into the market. If you're in order to become a CFO, at least you should be a chartered accountant or a CPA or MBA, something like that at that level. And the rest is really depends upon your personality and the leadership style. And finally, when we finish this 3 series coaching, you will probably have a career roadmap with you, how to go forward in your career and in the area of your specialization. So that's in a nutshell the 3 series, 3 parts contents we'll cover during this session. As I said, the contents are too much to really squeeze in one session. So I have tried to split into 3 sessions so you could really digest it, learn it, and apply it. That's what we are doing here. So just to give you a snapshot, this is just one slide. I think this is the most important slide to tell you where are we heading into. This is from ILO, very reliable. And what they are showing here is the number of hours lost. This is overall labor market, by the way, but not one segment, overall labor market. And they are showing here the worldwide and the main region and certain categories. And you can see that in the 3 quarters of 2020, we have already lost 10 to 12% of the labor hours, 10 to 12%. And according to ILO, this 10 to 12% loss in the labor hours or labor income is equivalent to 395 million FTEs in 3rd quarter. 395 million FTEs in 3rd quarter alone. And altogether for 2020, it is expected to cross more than 1 billion FTEs. So we are talking about basically a big portion of the world labor market. So imagine if this has happened in 2020, and then there are projections that world economy is going to lose close to 5% this year, and all countries at different level, they are going to lose in their GDP. This is not only bad for this year, this is actually worse for the years coming in near future. So that is what we are heading into. And of course, if you look at different experts, they have different point of view and opinion. But I think generally, everybody would agree that we are heading more crisis than what we have so far. I ask you to try to develop an analogy in your mind about the blue ocean and red ocean. So many of you are familiar with the blue ocean strategy. And those who are not familiar, think of a blue ocean and red ocean. Red ocean is the place where a lot of sharks are there, a lot of people are there, they are all struggling, they are trying to snatch their share, a lot of competition, firefighting, cutthroat competition is going on. That's red ocean. Blue ocean is a blue sky scenario. It's neat and clean, peaceful, there is not much fight, there are not many sharks, and there are not many people looking for what they are trying to find out. It's a very peaceful. This is a scenario, this is the original analogy developed by some experts for the business world. Then in business world, there are industries or there are segments with a lot of firefighting going on. And then there are areas which are very peaceful. You need to find, you need to search for it. I think job market is very quickly transitioning into red ocean and blue ocean job market. Why so? A lot of people are losing jobs, and this is not only this year. It has been happening for several years, that the pace of for people to losing jobs is increasing only. And these people are basically part of the red ocean. They lose the job and they again try to get back on their track. They try to search for a job. So the market segment where people are losing the job and trying to find another job has become a red ocean. Honestly, there are not many jobs, but the job seekers number is increasing. That is one scenario. The other, also very realistic scenario, is the blue ocean. There are professionals who are in high demand. They are very talented, and to an extent that where companies or employers are fighting to get that talent. It's a very limited talent, by the way. There are not many candidates. Every company wants to hire them, and that is why it's a blue ocean. Here in this market, blue ocean job market, candidates are able to dictate their terms. They are able to demand their terms, and employers are going to fulfill that. Now, this segmentation is only increasing and is going to further increase. Red ocean is going to expand further in the years to come, next year and years to come. And blue ocean would also expand, but very limited level. And there would always be more demand for the talent. As a matter of fact, employers in the blue ocean are already complaining for lack of talent. So think of this paradox that on the one hand, there are a lot of candidates looking for jobs and really struggling to get a job. On the other hand, there are a lot of positions available with employers and they are complaining for lack of talent. That's what we are talking about, blue ocean, red ocean. So bear with me and I'll give you more information to understand that scenario. This is very important, by the way. So I'm going to show you a few slides from Gartner. Now this is related to, they issued a report a few months ago about the 9 future of work trends post-COVID-19, which is basically changing the future of work. So I took their slides and I'll elaborate from my side what are those trends. 9 trends, some are more relevant to us, some are less relevant, but let's go through them quickly. So number 1 trend is more employees working remotely. Now everybody knows that. The only question is that will this last or not? Now all the research done by McKinsey and Gartner and other companies is showing positive results. Employees are very happy, and the people who are working remotely, they are, if not happy, at least satisfied. So this model is going to work, is already working, and is going to last for long. It is expected that once the things settle down, about 50% of the employees will be working remotely. This is from Gartner. Their expectation, 50% would be working remotely. So you need to see in your situation that what type of job you have. Is there any chances to work remotely or not? Now there are plus and minuses for this. There are not all pluses that you have more flexibility sitting at home. If you are away from the work, you also have to pay some costs from the career development progress point of view. But anyway, that's a significant trend which is going to last for long. Number 2, increase use of employee data. This is not much related to us, but this is related to the employer's tendency to use more and more digital information to control the employee's behavior. So with remote working, they are using more information, like when the employees are logging in, when they are logging out, those type of information. Number 3rd trend is greater role of employer as a social safety net. So in good companies, large companies, resourceful companies, they are offering more support to employees, medical support, healthcare support, well-being of families, child care, All those things are the trend in the larger companies, well-resourced companies. So that's a good thing for employees. But look, there is another trend which is related to this, which is wider use of contingent workers. That's alarming from an employee point of view, which means that more and more companies are already firing their employees or making their contract more variable than permanent. In fact, Gartner estimate 30% of all permanent employees would convert into contingent worker. Contingent worker you can take as temporary workers. That if the company needs their services, they will hire them. If not, they will fire them. That's the contingent nature of the work. And 32% of workforce, knowledge workers, would be on contingent basis. So here is the relationship between the point 3 and 4. Point 4 is mainly related to the cost reduction. All businesses in all industries have to really, on an urgent basis, reduce cost in order to make them survive. And the easier way is to reduce the workforce or make them temporary or contingent. With trend number 3, greater role of employer as a social safety net, it looks good on the surface, but it costing more money to employers. Providing more social support, more safety, more family care, it is costing more to employers, which means they are more inclined to reduce the workforce. So I guess that going forward, only the blue ocean employees, the employees who are really in high demand with their talent, they would enjoy this, and most of the employees would really become contingent or temporary or contract workers, as we call it. Number 5, critical skills are no longer synonymous with roles. So lately there has been a lot of talk about the critical roles. Now the trend is saying that based on the crisis with which these businesses have gone through, they have learned that it's not only about the critical skills, but about critical roles. So they are going to focus on critical roles, that which are the roles which are really critical or strategic to keep the company ongoing. And there will not be many, but there will be few, and that is what they are want to focus upon. So generally speaking, I could say that going forward, companies are going to be very, very selective in talent, search and talent recruitment. They don't want a lot of average employees. They want few highly talented employees. That is where the blue ocean resides. Number 6, some find work more humanizing in the crisis, others find it dehumanizing. So this is related to the companies, that based on the crisis, some companies really supported their employees. Some companies try to squeeze work from their employees. I think Amazon is one of them who is criticized because they were forcing their employees to work long hours during this for their own business purposes. So again, this may not be much related to us, but this is another trend going forward. Crisis response distinguishes top-tier employer brands. So there are employers who are becoming desirable, and there are employers and companies who are not becoming desirable. This is related to that. As I said, the companies who are taking care of their talented employees, they fit into that category. Number 8, organizations prioritize resilience as much as efficiency. So that's the new scenario, new learning for candidate, for leaders, as well as for the businesses, that it's really about resilience, which means that after a setback, how quickly, how strongly you could get back to the normal. For individuals, for individual professionals, resilience is the top quality which is looked upon, and also for businesses and companies. And number 9, crisis adds to organizational complexity, straining design culture and value proposition. So of course, the changes which are happening right now in the business are making the business model much more complex, much more complex. But that is the way going forward. That's a new reality. So if you look at these 9 trends, I think what we need to focus upon from a candidate or talent point of view, talented professional point of view. Number 1, working remotely. Number 2, wider use of contingent workers, critical roles. Number 5, and I think number 9, our ability to work in a complex business models. Now, if you have any questions, you can drop in the chat box, and I would stop in a while and try to take some questions to answer right there. But these are the 9 trends which are from the future of work point of view are going to make a significant impact. Let's move on. So this is about the business models, how the business models are changing. So there is more and more focus on the customer themselves as a stakeholder, as well as the value proposition. There is a lot of talk about the customer usage, customer experience, customer journey. That is where the companies are focusing more of their attention and time, and which leads to creating capabilities. You cannot serve the customers unless you have the capabilities. And interestingly, there are many finance professionals here. Just look for the finance box. It says system for capturing value. Finance is equivalent to system for capturing value and turning excess value into profit, and funding that can be reinvested in the business. That's a big, tall order. Capturing value. We are far away from that. There are some smart CFOs and smart individuals who are equipped with this type of concept. Most are not. And that is the new demand on the finance that become part of the value creation. Now, as you know, all of you who are from the MECA background, that is what we focus in our trainings and courses about the customer value creation. So at least you have the mindset to work for with that ideas. These couple of slides are related to the organizations, what are they doing from a business process point of view. So we need to really understand and digest it to see that where do we fit in. And this is, if you look at the heading, tomorrow's organization may be different from the past. So this is an ideal scenario that how the ideal organization would look like. And if you look at these few points here, flatter organizations with much less hierarchy and streamlined decision rights. So they are talking about taking out few layers from the hierarchy, which definitely mean the cost reduction and employee reduction, but that's a very different business model. Then number two, flatter information flows and decision making powered by embedded data analysis. This is all about data analytics. So finance role is shifting more and more focus on the supporting the front end organization and really involving the new technology into it. So that's another big change which is happening in the business model. Next, cross-functional teams. That is where the soft skills comes in. That is where it's no more about the traditional accountant sitting in the comfort of their silos. It is about the front and forward-minded employees working with other employees in the organization from different functions. That's going to be very, very common. Next number, flexible ways of working. Flexible ways of working, including F&E or hybrid, remote in-person teams. So if you have a team and half of the people are working remotely, half of the people are working in different locations, of course, it's not that straightforward. It's quite complex, and you have to have the means and ways and capability to manage them efficiently and smartly. Next item, dynamic allocation of talent deployed against mission critical priorities. Now, they're not talking about the departments or functions anymore with reference to talent. They want to see a pool of talented employees, highly talented employees, and they use them as and when they are needed. So they're not confined in marketing or finance or anywhere else. They are basically part of the tool with certain level of talent and skills, and they are available. They could be used as and when they are required in different part of the organization. That's a new model, pretty new. Then finally, we have the agile, resilient talent, able to move fast, adapt to change, and continuously learn. Now, this is really a gray area because many professionals look at these terms, resilient, agile, critical thinking, problem solving, and they think, I know all of them, right? This is a catch, actually. This is a trap. That if you think that you already know, you basically don't know what you don't know. So this is what I'm trying to explain here, that the definition of talent has completely changed. It's not about your CP or CA you did 20 years ago, or your MBA degree or anything else. It's completely a different set of skills for which you don't need to go back to the college and universities. You could learn on your own, but first level is understanding and the appreciation that what is change and what you could do about it. Look at what they want to achieve with these changes. So on the right side, with improved outcome, what is the outcome? Faster speed to market. That's very critical for businesses. Faster speed is crucial. Now, it is expected that in 2021, a lot of companies would go bankrupt, a lot of companies, because they have sustained so far 9 months with the reduced revenues, less capacity, but they cannot survive for long. This is not for permanent. And so we will see a lot of cleanup in the market in certain industries. Only the companies would survive who are very efficient and smart and speedy enough. Increase customer responsiveness. So 6 to 10 times increase in testing throughput, 50 to 200% reduction in time to launch new customer experience. A lot of demand, a lot of pressure on the customer service. Greater efficiency and return on invested capital, and stronger performance orientation and employee satisfaction. So you can sense it. You can see the flavor of this new business model coming up. And imagine that as an individual professional, if you are going to work in this organization, what type of talent will fit? Of course, your current talent, except for the few exceptions, would not fit into there. Organizations could act now to redesign their operating models for speed in this unique moment of time. So Gartner is also serves. This is actually from McKinsey, but Gartner, McKinsey, Big Four also serve as advisor or role model in the market in such type of crisis and complexity, where for average businesses it is very difficult to understand what they need to do, what they don't need to do. They are guided by these companies. And McKinsey is basically saying that this is the time. If you don't redesign, don't prepare now, it will be too late. And exactly the same thing I'm saying to individual financial professionals, that this is the time to retool your skill set. This is the time. Otherwise, it would be too late. So my effort here is first to really make you understand of the overall picture, overall scenario, what is happening. So here, few bullets here. Uncertainty is the next normal. See, what is working now is speed, information, collaboration will continue to drive performance in the future. So speed, information, collaboration. How many of us really have a training in collaboration? It's a natural talent for many people. If they naturally have this talent, they are successful, but for most it is not. Growth is a speed game. Growth is a speed game. Speed equal to growth, or growth equal to speed. As past recessions show, the winners are those who innovate fast, make bold moves, and rapidly reallocate resources. Next bullet is about the talent. Talent market is flattening and democratizing. Remote working means geography is no longer a constant and constraint, and top talent is already leaving organizations with bad cultures and slow response. So whole world is your market. If not whole world, at least regions. In Middle East, for example, with the remote working, many companies are realizing that why do they need to keep the workers at the work visa in their home countries? If they are working remotely, whether they work within the Middle East or they work from India and Pakistan, it's the same thing for them, right? Except there are few limitations. But I think it's pretty solid reasoning because the salary level would go significantly down. So they will keep them in employment, but ask them to work from India and Pakistan, which would be much cheaper for them. And good side for employees, they would be closer to their family. So I think that model is also going to grow very fast in the near future. It may not be affordable to wait. Cost pressures have intensified, making it critical to drive efficiency and operate with a lean core. So here, another point to understand, it's not about cost reduction only. So cost reduction is primal, but how to solve it? So employee layoffs, reducing the layers of employees is one thing, which is definitely helping. On the other hand, companies are rushing to implement technology because technology is another big driver to reduce cost. As a matter of fact, Gartner is the pioneer or leader in technology vision, creating vision for the market. Gartner in somewhere said that the acceleration of implementing or adopting technology in 2020 has accelerated by 5 years. Companies are doing that level of automation or technology which they were supposed to do in 2025. They are doing today. The COVID-19 has accelerated the technology adoption by 5 years. Think of this. Now, technology is definitely helping cost reduction, but also at the same time making less people required for the business, right? That's a double-edged sword. Momentum is here for now. Leaders see the art of the possible, and employees have their eyes open to sustainable ways of working. Slipping back to old behavior will be difficult to recover from. So that's just point of view from McKinsey. This is the last slide on this presentation from McKinsey. So unleashing speed, what will achieve? Rewire ways of working, which means a lot of reprocess engineering, new design, customer user experience, reimagine structure, and readopt talent. So basically, they are saying that it's a reset. For everything, it's a reset. If everything is a reset, how is it possible that we as professionals would not change and still be working, right? So you have a choice. In blood terms, either you also reset or you become history, because businesses are not going to stop. They don't have time to really wait for anyone. So don't be misguided by your current employment, by your secured employment, that you are safe. Nothing has happened to you for last 15, 20 years, and nothing will happen. This is the biggest change in history, in ages. And we don't know what could happen. We are just trying to make our judgment, guesses. But what really could happen, we still don't know. This is a survey. Who is that? McKinsey or Gartner, one of them. So they asked a big pool of executives, people like you in the organizations, and they asked that what's going to change. So look at the one by one each bar, starting from the left side. So most leader surveys expect large scale changes within their organization. The question was that in this area, what do you feel would change? Percentage. 80% said that a simple thing like meeting structure and those things will also change, 80%. How leaders lead today, 78% say it would change. Use of technology, 76% said it would change. Core processes and how the company is run, 72% say it would change. Approach to talent and skill needed, 69% said it would change. New culture, aspiration, and behavior models, behavior mindsets, 60% said it would change. Approach to innovation, 59% said it would change. Decision making and how business is organized, 59% say it would change. Interaction with external stakeholders, 58% say it would change. Product or service portfolio, 55% said it would change. Partnerships and broader ecosystem, 46% said it would change. Corporate purpose, 12% said it would change. So imagine if these many changes are coming. This is based on the feedback from those people who run the organization. How much is going to change? Or how could you survive without changing yourself? See yourself in that scenario, that these things 1 year from now have changed, but you did not change, or you did not make any effort to change. Are you still there where you were? It's a big question. Look, this graph shows you the technology pattern. So there is in normal days, there is always a linear technology adoption. Technology adoption is faster, but otherwise the change is slower. What you see here in this graph, in 2020, what has happened? Because of the coronavirus, things have accelerated. Change has accelerated, technology adoption is accelerated, and a lot of structural changes coming up. So in conclusion, what is happening with the business? So of course, there are prime focuses on cost reduction, rapid technology adoption, reduce headcount, of course, millions of jobs being lost already, not all coming back, by the way. A major job disruption, probably a major career disruption, because many people in the job market would not be able to find jobs within their own field, so they need to do something different. That is where the gig economy is also expanding very fast. Job seekers will get desperate and search for alternatives. So they are changing careers, becoming self-employed or freelancers or entrepreneurs. In long term, what will happen in the business is structured cost reduction. So they want to change their business model from fixed to variable. Now, until so far, for most businesses, employment cost is a fixed cost. They want to make it variable. That is why they are shifting the permanent employee into contingent or contract or temporary employee. That would become a variable model because fluctuations would remain there. Growth in gig economy because of the same reason. Remote working in mainstream, yes, less business travel. Less business travel. That's a big impact on the hotels and airlines because they make money on the business travel and it's not going to come back. Hyper automation in manufacturing supply chain operations, which is already happening. Increase in demand for value creating professionals. So that's very important for you to note. How do you create value? Do you create value? And don't tell me that I maintain books. That's not value creation. So you need to really think deeply that what are the acts or what are the activities you could involve to create value for the businesses. And high level of transparency and accountability throughout the organizations. And salaries will be unfixed and related to the variable factor. This is related to the conversion from permanent employees to contingent employees. Industries which are changing already, see which industry you represent. So industry which are growing or getting benefit, of course, healthcare, wellness, technology, safety, security, online, e-commerce, telecommunication, online education, home deliveries, this is growing, green energy. And the problem industries right now are airlines, of course, on the top, hotels, automotive, oil and gas, real estate, retail malls, commercial estate is big problem, construction and travel services. These are not an exhaustive list, but quite indicative what is happening across different industries. This is another survey. I think this is also from McKinsey. That what is the impact of the profitability? Look at the industries here. So starting from the left side, passenger transport, that mainly airline. Impact on the profitability 16 times. 16 times. Hotels 8 times. Non-food retail 7-8 times. House construction 6 times. Construction 5 times. Automotive and real estate. So almost all industries are going to be impacted seriously from a profitability point of view. So what they are doing, these serious measures or harsh measures in terms of the employee layoff and the restructuring, they're doing the right things because they need to survive. If they don't do these things, they would not be able to survive in near future. So let's talk about you now, because we are talking about the career strategy. Let's understand what are the risks in front of you right now. And I'm going to be blunt here. If you don't like it, then just ignore it. But this is my honest judgment, opinion, advice. So you may face options like this. You may be offered to work remotely with lower pay or less responsibility. It's possible. You may encounter conversion to contingent contract employee. Your role may be redefined with pay cut. You may be considered surplus, which means they're not fired, but made surplus in the organization in the hope that some other department will pick you up, which has very limited chances, or simply fired. These are the very viable, probable options for every one of us here. Let's face the reality. Talent demand and supply, more layoffs, more job seekers, which means a bigger red ocean. Red ocean is expanding very fast. Talent supply is segregating into two segments. That's what we talk about, the red ocean and blue ocean. If you have not made deliberate efforts, there are less chances that you are in blue ocean. So don't assume that you are already in blue ocean. There has to be very tangible, significant reasons for you to consider that you are in a blue ocean. Let me share you one more fact. Most people who are employed, they believe that they are in the blue ocean. They are in demand. Their employer cannot afford to lose them. That's one fact based on the surveys. On the other hand, there is another fact that most of the people who are fired without their willingness, they thought same way, that they are not fireable, or they are highly, they're in high talent pool and they would never be fired. So I would leave the conclusion based on your imagination, based on these facts. Hiring through recruiters, networking, or employer referral. So not much hiring, but there is also very much probability that in many cases employers want to replace existing employees. So they are people incumbent working, and they don't think that they have the right talent, or they could improve, or they could be better. So they want to get rid of them and bring more talented employees. So there's a talent war going on already. And that talent war, there is no point to really make public jobs offer. So it would be through high level, high profile recruiters, through networking, or employee referrals. Again, keep in mind, we are talking about the C-level positions: senior level, director level, VP level, general manager level, and C level. These are the positions. Even in the senior level controllers, senior managers, they will fit into this category. This is the scenario going forward as far as demand and supply is concerned. Job disruption is very common already, but many will experience career disruption. Those people who are in the comfort zone or the complacent, or believe that they would not be impacted, they would ultimately may face a career disruption. So gig economy is rising. Why? Because manual workers. So let's understand that gig economy could be segmented into two. One is related to the manual workers who do functional jobs like delivery people, self-employed skilled workers, uh, cleaners, handymans. These are all manual workers. People like us are the knowledge workers. Now, gig economy is expanding very fast with the manual workers, no doubt. Uber and delivery people, they are all fit into that. Knowledge worker is a different industry, a different gig economy, but it's also growing, but very slowly, and there are a lot of challenges. Now, employer, what is happening with the conversion from permanent to contingent? Those people or those employees are becoming self-employed. If you are self-employed, you become part of the gig economy. So maybe it's not by choice, but it's more by pressure that you choose to make some money by becoming part of the gig economy. Number two, mushroom growth of servicing platform. So there is a lot of technology have created opportunities like freelance, Upwork, a lot of website. You could just go there and list your profile in the hope that someone will hire you. And a lot of people are making money over there, earning money, not really making money, earning money. So those platforms are also making it convenient and easier for many people to at least do something rather than sitting at home doing nothing. And many people take this as a lifetime opportunity to become an entrepreneur, which they wanted to do for a long time, or their level of job search is really reaching to a level of exhaustion. They finally want to retire from that job search and do something on their own. So these are the different drivers of the gig economy very happening. It's not a very rosy option right now, because there is a millions and millions of gig economy employees or self-employed who have lost income this year. New rules of the game: highly competitive market for job seekers, more hiring through networking, fewer jobs are posted, high demand for soft skills and attitude. That's very important. Soft skills and attitudes. Now, hard skills are easy to get. Hard skills are commodity basically. Soft skills are difficult to get or difficult to be developed. That's in demand. Technology will be a common denominator across all functions and industries, not only about technology department or IT department. Every professional working in any function of the organization has to be IT literate or tech savvy, at least. Talent is assessed based on the ability to upskill and reskill. So not only that you have a current set of skill, which is aligned with the need and demand of the employer, but also do you have the ability to upskill and reskill and unlearn and learn? That's very important, because organizations do not want to change employees every year or every 6 months. They need very talented employees with very high price for long term. That's what they need. That's what the part of the business model they're looking for. And again, it's a shift from focus from experience to skills. Skills are a lot more important. Even if you have less experience, your skills matter. So the mindset is really, this is a slogan from the US Navy SEALs actually. I like it. The only easy day was yesterday. That's a mindset. It's not about the frustration or disappointment. It's about challenge. That okay, let's challenge myself to really meet more challenges and more difficulties and still continue to survive and thrive. So I'm not sure if you have heard of this term, VUCA, VUCA. It stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And the relevance of this term is that we are in a VUCA world now, VUCA world, which is not going to change. These things were supposed to be temporary fluctuation or temporary scenario, but it's not going to change. I think since the financial crisis of 2008, 2009, we are experiencing and observing volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity in some way or the other, some way or the other. And it's even going to exist more intensely going forward. So the challenge for the businesses and challenge for the professional is how to survive in this VUCA world. Let me remind you, this slide I'm using for years now. This is originally released by World Economic Forum. That was 2018 when they issued the Future of Job reports. And 2018, 2 years only, is still very, very relevant, very relevant if you look at the skill set. So the big question from many of you would be, okay, I'm willing to upskill and reskill, but what I do need to learn? Look at these skills growing. What is that? Analytical thinking, innovation, right? Active learning and learning strategies, creativity, originality, initiative, critical thinking, complex problem solving, again, emotional intelligence. All these terms are, for many, is a trap because these look simple enough. Many people think, I know those things already. I don't need to worry about it. I would remain in demand. Big mistake. It doesn't work that way. Let me explain you what is the critical nature of the skill set you need to develop. So there are two types of skills, hard skills and soft skills, right? Hard skills are basically your degrees, accounting, certifications, or other knowledge, technical knowledge. These are all hard skills. These are easy to learn, and a lot of professionals in any field already have that. Even at later age, you want to learn something, you could learn, because this is a function of left brain. Left brain is logical. You can learn these things logically very quickly. Come to the right side, soft skills. Soft skills are basically a function of right brain, emotional brain, because these are intangible in nature. Communication skills, flexibility, self-discipline, self-reflection, teamwork, time management, empathy, etc., etc. These are difficult to be learned. These are not like left brain skills we could develop quickly. So employers are looking for the soft skill talent. It doesn't mean that they don't need hard skill talent. Actually, the hard skill and soft skill have to be combined. In order to develop critical thinking, you need to have the soft skills and hard skills in your relevant field. Otherwise, it would not work. So if you think that I have already the critical thinking skills, but if you cannot relate critical thinking with the hard skills or the technical side or the other requirement of the business, you would not be able to contribute any value. Let me give you one more example. So this is a curriculum for the strategic CFO program we do from Mecca CFO Academy. And as I said, many of you have already gone through that program or are familiar. It started originally, that was back in 2015. It started originally with the leadership only. That is how we started, just the leadership part. If you look at the leadership part, it has the peak performance, work-life balance, personal branding, emotional intelligence, networking, etc., right? All soft skills. That is where we started. And in a couple of years, I realized that in order to really become a senior leader in business environment, you need to understand business also. Only leadership would not work. So we added the strategy modules. What is the strategy? Value creation, business models, strategy mapping, blue ocean strategy, value chain analysis, balance scorecard, 5 forces analysis, etc., etc. Now think of this. When we included 2 modules into this program, they were not standalone. The people who've gone through that 2 modules, they started to link together, because strategy without leadership is only an information or knowledge you cannot apply, or strategy without leadership or leadership without a strategy is not going to work as effectively as it should. So by combining two, with your leadership, you look at the business issues and you try to come with a solution which is optimal for the business. We did not stop there. Last year, I think that was 2017, I realized that technology is penetrating faster in the senior level of management leadership. So it's not only related to the IT or technology department, but senior level. So we included technology modules. Or what is technology modules? Big data analytics, hyper automation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, internet of things, VR, AR, 5G. Now, idea of these technology modules is not to make you a developer. We don't teach coding here. You don't need coding. The level of positions you have or you already have, you probably would never require to become a developer or do the coding. But you need to make important business decisions. Going forward, strategy is involved with the technology. Businesses need people who are strategic, but they also understand technology. They don't know coding maybe, which is okay, but they understand technology. They know what blockchain could do for the business or how artificial intelligence could speed up the customer processes. That's what we teach in this program, to the level where you could understand what technology could do business. Now, if you have covered three modules like leadership, strategy, and technology, and you have some business background, you could develop or apply those things through critical thinking, through analysis, through emotional intelligence. That's what we need. You need a combination of different skill set in such a manner that ultimately you are able to solve business problems. You could have critical thinking and you could solve complex business problems and help the business. That's what you need. Now, I'm not suggesting that you need exactly the same portfolio, but this portfolio, Strategic CFO Program, we designed it for CFO level, and it's pretty much applicable for any C-level position like CMO, COO, CTO, CIO. The only thing is that you need to add the functional part a little bit more, but otherwise these three, leadership, strategy, and technology, are the recipe to be successful as a senior business leaders. So I just showed you for the sake of providing an explanation what type of mix we need for skills. So this is another chart explains that reality which is happening. So we are talking about that we are in the era of Industry 4.0, right? If you go back and look at the historical evolution of industry, it started with the 1.0 steam engine, that was 1760. Then assembly line invention, that was early 19th or late 18th. Then industry 3.0 was basically computerization, nuclear energy, etc. And 4.0, we are talking about all these new technology, cloud computing, mobile devices, IoT platforms. Now look at this circle. And in order to become a tech savvy or IT literate, how much you could learn? Mobile devices, IoT platform, location detection technology, advanced human machine interface, authentication, 3D printing, smart sensors, big data analytics, multi-level customer interaction, customer profiling, augmented reality, cloud computing. It is not possible for you to really go in each and every, and there are hundreds of other fields, by the way. But you need to develop an overall understanding of the technology. That's what we do in these technology modules. Because as a leader, look inside the circle. There are three main tasks you need to deal with as a leader. Number one, digitization and integration of value chain. Those decisions are taken at the leadership level, right? They are not taken at the developer level. Number two, digitization of product and service offerings. Number three, digital business models and customer access. You are sitting, imagine you are sitting at that level, three major decisions. What type of knowledge you need? Of course, you need strategy, you need leadership, and you need a good level of orientation about the different technologies. And it would take some time for you to start a level of maturity and development in your mind to apply those things at the practical level. That's what we are talking about in terms of the skill set. Look, this is another proof that how the market is changing. This is a very interesting slide actually, and this is, I think, from Gartner. So they are saying that digital skills in demand beyond tech companies, and so people think that these technical things are for the technology department or IT department or tech companies. What they are showing here, that how much is demand for these skills in non-technology companies, non-technology departments. Artificial intelligence. Since 2015 to 25 years, the number of jobs which have appeared in the non-tech companies and non-tech departments is more than the demand in tech or IT departments. Look at the number from left side. 86,336 openings in tech department, tech companies, 182,000 in non-tech, artificial intelligence. Robotic process automation, 22,000 jobs in tech companies, 46,000 in non-tech companies. Data science and data analytics, 205,000 in tech companies, 441,000 in non-tech companies. This is the real numbers. That is how the demand is increasing. Now, how would you survive in any company or any business if you have no idea what data science or data analytics is? Again, as I said, you don't need to become a data scientist. You don't need to learn development of software or coding, but you need to have a pretty good idea what data science could do for the business, or robotic process automation or artificial intelligence could do. That's the level of literacy we need. And then you combine with your soft skills and your strategic skills, and that is how you will serve and create value for the business. So folks, my bottom line here is, I don't want to scare you. I don't want to show you a pessimistic scenario, but I think this crisis provides us the opportunity to redefine ourselves and reassess the challenge in front of us. And I think all of us have the capacity and the power and the capability to deal with this challenge.